Did 6 people in Pennsylvania die and then register and vote in the 2020 election? No evidence has been provided to back up that claim, neither the Western Journal, which published the claim, nor Senator Lindsey Graham, R-S.C., who was quoted in the article as making the claim, provided lead stories with evidence. The communications director with the Pennsylvania Department of State told lead stories that the state does not count ballots from deceased voters, and the Pennsylvania Attorney General said the claim failed when brought before a judge. The claim appeared in a commentary piece published by the Western Journal on November 10, 2020, under the title, Senator Lindsey Graham, How Do 6 People in Pennsylvania Die, Then Register, Then Vote? It featured a quote attributed to Senator Graham that said, quote, "But here's the one that gets me, 6 people registered after they died and voted. In Pennsylvania, I guess, you're never out of it." End quote. Senator Graham's statement came during Fox News's Sunday Morning Futures show. Later on in the 7-minute 21-second interview, he refers to evidence of dead people voting in Pennsylvania. Lead Stories reached out to 3 members of his press team, including Kevin Bishop, by phone and email on November 13, 2020 requesting the source of this information, but has not received a response. This story will be updated when they respond, if appropriate. Wanda Murrin, communications director with the Pennsylvania Department of State, told Lead Stories in an email on November 13, 2020, that a deceased voter's ballot does not count. She explained that county boards of election are regularly sent death notices from such sources as the state's Department of Health. These election boards are responsible for conducting their own vote canvass to rule whether to include or remove challenged ballots and to cross-check tallies against death records and other records. Murrin referred Lead Stories to a section in the Pennsylvania Code, which says, quote, "Whenever it shall appear by due proof that any absentee elector or mail-in elector who has returned his ballot in accordance with the provisions of this Act has died prior to the opening of the polls on the day of the primary or election, the ballot of such deceased elector shall be rejected by the canvassers, but the counting of the ballot of an absentee elector or a mail-in elector thus deceased shall not of itself invalidate any nomination or election." End quote. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro tweeted on November 7, 2020, quote, "Every PA ballot has been counted with observers from the campaigns. Every PA ballot has been counted in accordance with the law." End quote. On November 6, 2020, in response to a tweet on the same day by Rudy W. Giuliani alleging that tens of thousands of dead people are on Pennsylvania's voter rolls, Shapiro tweeted, quote, "Would like to see the evidence." A similar complaint was brought before a PA court, and soundly rejected. The court found no deficiency in how PA maintains its voter rolls, and there is currently no proof provided that any deceased person has voted in the 2020 election. End quote. Registering to vote in Pennsylvania involves completing a 14-part application, which asks for such information as the last 4 digits of your Social Security number and birthdate. It also includes a warning about filling out this information inaccurately, quote, "I understand that this declaration is the same as an affidavit, and, if this information is not true, I can be convicted of perjury, and fined up to $15,000, jailed for up to 7 years, or both." End quote. It is also worth noting that on Pennsylvania's Open Data website, it explains that some birthdates included in the 2020 general election mail ballot request dataset will appear as the 1st of January 1800. This is due to confidentiality reasons of the registered voters. Usually this is for victims of domestic violence, the website explains. NewsGuard, a company that uses trained journalists to rank the reliability of websites, describes westernjournal.com as, quote, "a news and opinion site run by Floyd Brown, a conservative activist, author, and consultant. The site has improved its standards but still occasionally publishes misleading information." End quote. According to NewsGuard, the site can generally be trusted to maintain journalistic standards. Read their full assessment here.